While the struggle in Europe and the Middle East was still raging, Australia suddenly found she had another enemy. This one right at her doorstep. But the Allies decided that Australia must fight a holding war until the European campaign was successfully concluded. So, until her own forces could be recalled from overseas, Australia found herself virtually defenseless in the path of a cruel aggressor. In the early days, the men who flew out into the brave but hopelessly unequal struggle knew they were going to almost certain death. For their outmoded planes, the best that could be mustered, were no match for the fast and maneuverable Japanese fighters. And for the first time, the crews flew with a new fear. Fear of capture. Catalinas operating out of cairns flew on long-range reconnaissance missions. For the Japanese, by then firmly established in New Guinea, began to carry their invasion into Papua. American forces, withdrawn from the defeat of the Philippines, were gathered in Australia, and a combined combat force was formed. From the information gathered, strike operations were planned, and Allied squadrons flew out to attack when the enemy was within range. As the Allied forces began to drive the Japanese back, landing parties of RAAF engineers moved in to construct airstrips. In areas recently held by the enemy, certain dangers still remained. A watch had to be kept for a surprise attack, and mines cunningly planted in the roads up from the beaches had to be detected and deloused. Regular building materials were scarce, so the teams used whatever was at hand, and achieved surprisingly good results. As soon as the strip was operational, the aircrew arrived, and the planes were parked in separate bays cut in the jungle, providing as small a target as possible for attack from the air. The new arrivals were not always pleased with their own quarters. The usual comment was that they'd do as long as it didn't rain. A climate that's humid half the time and raining the other half made problems for living. The vehicles were always getting bogged, so the roads had to be coated with a layer of crushed coral. Rust was almost impossible to check. The machines broke down, so the jobs often had to be done by hand. The climate affected the health of everyone. The fetid atmosphere was ideal for the growth of fungus. Tropical ears and tropical ulcers were the result. The humidity attacked the wiring of all the electrical apparatus, and the maintenance crews worked non-stop checking and replacing corroded wires. Almost everyone was getting fed up, and more the talk turned to home and what they would do when it was all over. Some couldn't get used to the idea of having a future again. The end of the war was near. The enemy was in retreat, and the Australians were assigned to cleaning up operations, ferreting out handfuls of Japanese left isolated in dozens of small islands. It was an unpopular job, and to many it seemed a worthless waste of effort and lives. Brought with it a feeling of almost unbearable relief. To those who had been in it from the beginning, death had become a commonplace. They were taut, brittle shells of men, as damaged inside as their planes were on the surface. The lessons of war would be hard to unlearn. Experience had taught them not to hope or plan. That brought bad luck. Not to love or even bestow friendship. That brought heartbreak. And above all, never to relax and let fate catch them happy, for that could bring sudden death. After it was all over, it was easy to dispose of the surplus machines. Many looked solid enough, but their metal was fatigued, worn out with strain. Most were scrapped, but an odd one found its way into a museum. The men who kept the planes in the air and those who flew them suffered the same strain, and many were physically and mentally damaged as a result. Those whose lives didn't end with the war left carrying their wounds with them, locked deep inside. Some carry them still.